I'm Joe Hobson, and I was Aileen Wuornos' attorney while she was on death row. My challenge in representing Aileen, I mean, normally in my job, I'd have one guy and one murder and one death sentence. With Aileen, I had 7 of them. So we tried to argue that Mr. Glazier was ineffective, that proper mitigation evidence wasn't granted, that her childhood wasn't properly brought before a jury or a judge who sentenced her to death.
From 1993 to 2002, Aileen Wuornos' legal team files dozens of appeals, which are repeatedly denied.
Because of all the media attention, you had to take into factor it's going to affect a judge who might rule on your motions. You know, there's the court of public opinion, and you always have to combat an unfavorable media narrative.
I've been in a lot of death rows over the years, and it is horrific. You're in the cell 23 hours a day, a 6x9. Sometimes you have a window, sometimes you don't. You go mad. And she already had enough problems as it was. After several years on death row, Aileen began to complain about her treatment there in the prison. She thought the guards were poisoning her food. Aileen claimed that the guards were blasting noise in her cell so she couldn't sleep.
I think she was sociopathic and psychotic and psychopathic. She thought that the CIA was in on it. She thought there were transmitters in her food.
The appeals process continues for many years, which is common in a capital murder case. But no one anticipates the surprising twist to come.
It was 2001. Aileen had been on death row for about 8 years. And suddenly, she's back in the news.
I robbed him, and I killed him as cold as ice. And I'd do it again, too. And I know I'd kill another person because I've hated humans for a long time.
Aileen fires her defense team and ends all of her appeals. Now she changes her story and says she killed in cold blood. She volunteered to die.
There's no sense in keeping me alive because I just would absolutely kill again. I've got too much anger, too much hatred in me.
Now she is recanting her original claims that it was all in self-defense. She had just finally given up completely.
She was just done. She said, if I have no chance for anyone to believe me on anything, then just let me go. But I didn't believe that in her heart she really wanted to die.
Attorneys and activists claim Wuornos is mentally ill, too unstable to face the death penalty.
I've been practicing for 44 years, and I was a prosecutor for a number of years. That was the first time I've seen a defendant actually walk in and saying, I want to drop all my appeals. I want to be sentenced. I deserve to be sentenced to death.
Her attorneys argued that Aileen was not fit to make this decision, and she wasn't. But court-appointed psychologists allowed it.
Because what she done, she knew she wasn't going to get out of it, so why prolong it, keep going on it? She wanted to go to heaven. She had me writing everybody, governors and everything, please execute her, in her words, and sending her, mailing her letters for her.
Aileen Wuornos wrote a handwritten 23-page letter to the Florida Supreme Court. Florida Supreme Court treated Ms. Wuornos' letter like a petition for writ of habeas corpus, and that's the legal term for a pleading you would file if you're being housed and there's something wrong with the treatment you're receiving while you're being housed in the prison system. So that's how I got involved with the case. I'm Rag Singhal. I represented Aileen Wuornos in 2002 after she was placed on death row. What Aileen Wuornos wanted was to be executed as soon as possible, but while she was waiting to be executed, she wanted to be treated humanely. Some of her complaints included tampering with her food, people saying certain things for the purpose of agitating her. The way I viewed her claims is that if they were true, then there were some real issues with the treatment of the women on death row by the prison guards. But if they weren't true, then it was evidence of delusional behavior, which means that Aileen Wuornos wasn't competent to be executed